Hey everybody, I thought I'd put this transcript to video. It's why I voted for a common sense conservative government. And just a friendly heads up, this is my opinion from my little corner of the internet universe, and you don't have to like it, but I do ask that you be respectful. Thank you kindly. So even the advanced polls were totally packed with lineups, and there's going to be some waiting involved come election day on Monday, April the 28th. So bring a snack and somebody to chat with to pass the time, because it's going to be worth it. You know why? Because experts keep saying, and it's true, this is going to be probably the biggest election of our lifetime, the biggest election in 100 years. And some are saying the biggest election in Canadian federal history. I know there's a lot of folks out there who have not looked past the mostly biased and very government-funded main media coverage on the candidates and their parties. And they haven't looked past the little TikTok sound bites that are often manipulated to frame conservatives as Trumpian. But if you actually take the time to listen to Pierre Poilievre, he's really not like Trump at all. The Liberal Party's pathetic attempt at trying to make him look like Trump includes a little 2 to 4 word soundbite segment that could have been used by anybody that's trying to make a point. And all you got to do is listen to Pierre talk for just a few minutes, and you will see that he is very much not like Trump. And I don't want to spend too much time on Trump, because the facts speak for themselves once you actually take a little bit of time for yourself on it. But I will say, I don't like Trump. I don't like him as a person. He lost me a long fucking time ago with grab him by the pussy. But I can still objectively appreciate the positive effect that he's had on us by virtue of his trolling and his tariff threats, and getting us to smarten up and start to value our country by taking its sovereignty and economic state much more seriously, finally. So I'll take whatever good effects he might be having on us, but as for Poilievre and the Conservatives, check this out. A 2021 CSIS document did foretell that in the next federal election, there would be Chinese interference playing a part. All you got to do is research the Chinese Liberal Party MP that got removed and his replacement has direct ties to the Beijing Chinese Communist Party. And in specific, this CSIS document outlines how the Chinese interference in our election would frame conservatives as Trumpian. Well, how convenient. Especially since Carney is suspiciously cozy with China to begin with. It should make your skin crawl. And besides being false and a waste of time, comparing Poilievre to Trump is a total diversion from the actual issues we face every day as Canadians in this country. We've got impossible food, housing, gas prices. 25% of Canadians are living in poverty. We got homelessness, tent cities, drugs and crime running rampant in our communities. And in the last 2 weeks, just a couple incidents off the top of my head, we had a terrifying home invasion on Vancouver Island near Parksville. The accused party already had multiple charges against him. Soft on crime, Liberal policies there. An immigrant student in Hamilton was just shot by a stray bullet while she was waiting for her bus. And bad guys will do bad things. But the fact there is so much of these instances that are previously unheard of in Canada is sadly a direct result of Liberal soft on crime policies. And sure, a lot of us thought Trudeau was going to make a lot of things better once upon a time. Once upon a time, he seemed cool, whatever. This is sadly his trail of destruction that has gone on for way too long. And we're still living in the shadow of his legacy of Liberal mismanagement. Remember, Carney advised him since 2020, and a lot of the crap that caused our country to take a nosedive since COVID wasn't just because of COVID. He printed all this extra money to artificially boost the economy, which served as a temporary band-aid fix. Just a lot of handouts, led to a lot of overspending, higher interest rates, and a lot of subsequent debt after this initial high. Not to mention the endless Liberal scandals, the billions of dollars wasted on taxpayer money through ArriveCan, the We Charity scandal, so on and so forth. While the Liberals chastised and turned down multiple energy projects in Canada that could have been helping boost and rebuild the economy, Mark Carney was content to initiate pipelines in foreign countries while carbon taxing us for our everyday needs here at home, basically shaming us for needing to drive to work, for needing to heat our homes. But again, the carbon tax, although the consumer aspect has been taken away, thanks Mark Carney, it remains at the industrial level, which means it then cascades down to every other link in the chain, right back down to the consumer. So hey, thanks a lot, Mark Carney. Thanks for the markup, markdown, Marco. I sense an opportunity here for a carnival ride metaphor here. Anybody? Well, Carney indeed. Classic zero-sum game scheme. I, for one, do not want some non-democratically elected prime minister becoming our actual prime minister, whose big plan is just keep injecting billions of dollars of problems with no clear direction or actionable steps as to bridge the gap from A to B. But you look at Pierre Poilievre, the Conservative Party leader of Canada, whom I've been watching for the last 2 or 3 years. All I see and hear from him and his party consistently are common sense plans and comprehensive and well thought out strategies that 100% deserve a chance, at least. Not only that, but for about 18 months straight, he's been campaigning, going across the country, meeting folks on the ground, taking time to listen to people and their questions and concerns. He's door knocking, asking people what they'd like him to do if he was elected as prime minister, and taking the time to understand everyday Canadians, the working class, the immigrants, the seniors, the youth, the veterans, all these different demographics of people, all of them. And Trudeau ran from his people. He ran from concerned citizens. Now Carney is very reluctantly and very begrudgingly interacting with people when he's forced to, and is clearly not used to being asked questions by them. Yet, I've still encountered enough people who seem to have an aggressively knee-jerk reaction to my enthusiasm and hope for Pierre Poilievre as a prime minister. I have a lot of hope and faith in Carney somehow. Usually, with their reaction comes a complete absence of explanation, example, or articulation as to why they feel that way. And I have yet to engage with someone who has a solid argument why they're not willing to give him a chance. Obviously, nobody's perfect, and every politician deserves to be held in scrutiny. So time will tell, as with all things. But as far as having a fighting chance to actually salvage what we have left that is good in this country, I see no other choice. As far as a chance to rebuild, strengthen, and heal this country back to its own 2 feet again, I see no other choice. In order to have any hope of not falling dead into a full-on Chinese communist paradigm, I see no other choice. And by the way, both China and Russia are vying for our land via the Arctic. China has now invested in more Arctic fleet ships than all the Arctic countries combined. And we couldn't even meet a simple minimum promise of 2% NATO spending under the Liberal government in 10 years. Where was Carney's brilliant economic advising for us then, you might ask? Well, Brookfield Assets is where. Why is he so interested in putting Canadians into modular tiny homes and electric cars? Again, I'll tell you, he's a big shareholder in those industries. And I've been thinking about this for a long time. I'm always looking at it through a filter of healthy skepticism and a curious mind. I'm open to having my mind changed. But honestly, I've never felt more resolved about wanting a politician to be in office. And this is coming from somebody who never used to vote at all. I've never been more hopeful that we're not just a collective one-way journey. Never been more hopeful that we're all just not on a collective journey of a one-way trip to ever-increasing poverty and crime hell. The idea that we can actually get out of that and go the other way is truly inspiring to me. I could go on, but if you've taken the time to watch this much, thank you. I know there will always be critics, but fuck it. It's election time, and I just really wanted to share my thoughts because this is it, guys. So direct message me if you'd like to connect. It's always good to be in touch with the like-minded, and Lord knows, if I've been in the closet about my political views this long, there are going to be others. Even if you have questions or wish to have a healthy dialogue with me, I'd be interested in connecting with you. One thing I'd like to bring up, though, is when you vote, please know that splitting the vote from orange to green or purple only wastes this opportunity to effect immediate change, which we so desperately need in this country. This is coming from somebody who used to vote green loyally, and previous to that, like I said, I was non-voter for several years. So even if you think you don't care about politics or that they're all liars and it's rigged anyway, I've been there too. The fact is, we're all born into the system. We all have a part to play. So please don't let things just happen. Put to use what's left of our crumbling democracy and use your vote. So a little backstory on me. When I chose to vote green, it was because their platform made the most sense to me at the time, and I wanted to keep them in the race, as it were. Looking back, my heart was in the right place, but because I didn't possess the political acumen at the time, I was unable to make a more strategic and effective decision. And don't get me wrong, the green platform does have its place, but in order to ever hope to get there, we need to be both realistic and measured. We're not going to just get there by magic. The reality is, in the past 10 years, we've sunk so deep in every area as a country that there's now this giant mess to clean up, and not only clean up, but bring back to life from the brink of death. We need a serious resuscitation. We need actionable steps, a comprehensive plan, and a responsible management of our economy. I've only seen this kind of strategic planning and forethought from the Conservative Party of Canada. So fun fact, the CBC gets almost twice the annual funding of CSIS. Yeah, you heard me right. It's a little disgusting, isn't it? I think the CBC does put out some great programming. You know, for example, North of North is one of the best TV shows I've seen in a long time. But because CBC is also the main news channel in Canada, it should not be government funded. And that's why so much of it is biased, and it's not always presenting an honest picture of what's really going on. That's what Pierre means by defunding it. They can source their own money. They'll be totally fine. They're running ads now. They never used to. Honestly, it's amazing how much the government gives them on top of all that. Now, the root meaning of the word minister is actually servant. And this is a point that Pierre has made numerous occasions in the White House, the House of Commons. The idea is not to lord over the people, it's to act in service of them. And what the Carney Liberals want is for us to continue telling us they know what's best for us, despite our concerns. It's that top-down structure of government. And when we vote for people like that, we are acquiescing our sovereignty, putting our hands up and saying, I trust you, when they haven't even earned your trust at all. They haven't valued your voice at all. If anything, they've dissed you. What really makes you think that Carney's going to be an improvement? Look at his track record in England. It's not a new Liberal government. He's got all the same cabinet members, or at least 80% of the same cabinet members that were there when Trudeau was in power. And guys, what's the definition of insanity? It's doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. Trudeau was out of touch with the common people. Carney's much worse. All he knows is banking and hobnobbing with other elites. He doesn't even know how to act around him. Have you even seen him? It's really awkward. Speaking of mingling with the super rich, he does have yet to speak to that photo of him with Ghislaine Maxwell. We need a government that's grounded in measurable action, that empowers us as Canadian citizens because it cares about its citizens. We do not need more liberal, carny, socialist agendas. We need the government to quit trying to control everything we do and say and even think. Also, polls, schmoles. I'm saying that please don't assume the outcome is going to be secured to one way or the other. Don't give up and don't assume victory. Every vote counts. It is worth standing in line. Thanks for your time. Happy voting. Bring it home, baby.